In this podcast, I want to talk to you about the death of Cory Monteith and the connection between his death and this new movie that came out on July 12th called Pacific Rim. And also the connection with Kate and William's newest arrival that should be coming any day now. I also want to talk to you about this Boeing 777 crash in San Francisco. The train crashes in Quebec and Paris. Trayvon Martin case with George Zimmerman. Verdict came out on Saturday, July the 13th. This ship that went down in Italy last year the trial is just starting this week. And there's new life that's been found in the Arctic. And anytime you hear about the Arctic, know that it's to do with the underworld. Any information or news coming out from there, these are all scripts that we're living through. These events that I'm sharing with you that have transpired over the past few weeks all are in connection to Kate and William's new arrival. They're all rituals, in fact, leading up to the arrival of their newborn, which will most likely be a girl, any day now. So the Cory Monteith death, I found very interesting. I knew that right away. Whenever you listen to the news, just know that any major events that come out of the news are part of the script. They're feeding into the overall agenda of the power control force, those that presume they're in this world and this universe. We're living through a script. You have to come to understand that. So all we're doing here is exposing the agenda. I have an article or a blog post, which I'll link in the description, which covers a little bit more in depth on this Cory Monteith and Kate William and Pacific Rim movie connection. What struck me about Cory's death was that it was on July 13th, which was Kate and William's supposed due date for their baby. In the U.S., though, it was rumored to be July 11th. Numbers are very important to the power control force. Numbers and symbols and patterns. Once you come to understand how these entities operate, then you can sort of start putting things together for yourself and really see that everything that we experience in this dimension, this physical world and this universe, everything is an utter lie. And that's, I know those are pretty harsh words for me to be saying, and I stand confirmed in knowing that, because the awareness that you are doesn't exist within this realm. It exists outside of this realm, and just a portion of the essence of who you are is being captured. They wouldn't be able to capture all of your essence, although they have captured most of the essence of this nothingness and this void in which we come from. But if they were to capture all of your essence in this physical vehicle that you use to navigate on this physical world, you would be awake to what's really going on. And so they're very crafty in how much they capture in order to keep you asleep to the essence of who and what you are, which is simply awareness. You have no thought. You don't think as awareness. There's no thought process. There is no thought. You just know. You just simply rest in your state of paradise. And so when we see events like this unfolding, they're just simply distractions. They're rituals in order to keep the lie, in order to perpetuate and continuously perpetuate the lie that is unfolding through this agenda of total, complete control of your essence. Cory Monteith, one thing that struck out for me was the fact that he died on July 13th. Another thing that struck out with me is that he had the same initials as Catherine Middleton. And they're both 31 years old. And so I knew right away that this was a sacrifice for the birth of her baby. But not only that, Pacific Rim, this movie called Pacific Rim, came out July 11th. And it speaks to the Pacific Rim and the Ring of Fire, which I've talked about extensively on numerous videos, and that, you know, there are some major disasters that are going to be coming out of that area. And apparently Cory Monteith died at Fairmont Springs Pacific Rim Hotel in Vancouver. And I often talk about Vancouver, not often, but from time to time, because I'm from there, that there is, I presume that there's going to be a major earthquake that will be man-made, that is going to be precipitated out of, on the Cascadia fault line. And I do have a press release that I posted on my website about 2 years ago pertaining to that and how it will be a Phi Code ritual. But I don't tend to talk too much about that because it's a little bit sensitive to me, and I don't know when it's going to happen, but I do know that it will happen. It will be a man-made event. But this movie also speaks to that. The subliminal suggestions. It's just a script, again, that we are, unbeknownst to most of humanity, are living through. But when they watch these movies, the power control force is basically telling us what's coming when we do not know. So so when I saw the Pacific Rim movie, and then Cory Monteith, I looked up his last name. His last name Monteith is a bowl from the 18th century, and it has a very interesting rim, which they talk about in the definition. And I thought, there's the word rim again coming up. And so I put the connections together as well. This whole rim, the Pacific Rim, really, that is really wanting to be repeated over and over and over again. Repetition is very key. Subliminal suggestion and repetition is very key for the power control force in order to keep you in a state of hypnosis. So all these other events, a Boeing 777 crash, which I posted on my Facebook page about a week ago, it's in connection as well with a ritual sacrifice. So you have to understand that the power control force, those that presume they're in this world, they operate at a whole different level. And these rituals are very prominent. Every month we have some type of rituals that foreshadow something bigger for the rollout of their agenda. You know, the last days of judgment, the apocalypse, Armageddon, you know, this is rolling out these plans in order for complete, utter control. Now you have to understand, though, that the power control force of the universal architects, or designers, if you want to call them, they are the creators of the world we see. And they also created the world systems to conflict with natural creation. They created natural creation as well. So everything that we experience here, everything corrupts and or is corrupted and exists within the realm of this realm of duality and the death experience. So before light existed, there was a void of nothingness. This void contains all the greatness of the eternal state that we all are. So let's just say that a like-minded group of beings or entities, which I call the power control force, took it upon themselves to control the void of nothingness, this void of nothingness. They took it upon themselves to control it. These beings desire to control it for themselves. All the power and the wisdom of this nothingness, and thereby so that they can be worshipped as God. Now imagine that all the knowingness of your power that you possess, or that you have within you, the power and strength to exist forever. You have that within you. There's no beginning and there's no end. You have the power and wisdom to be eternal. You are eternal in this present moment. Imagine, though, that right that you fulfill as a being of knowing and completely possessing the eternal state of power and strength, that the power control force not only have this power for themselves, but they wanted your power as well. Because this power exists in everyone on this earth. It's not something you have to go out and find. It's just there, in you. And everyone on earth has it. So let's say that the power control force, those that presume this one in the world, have the same power. But they wanted your power as well. And imagine that this group wanted to possess all that is ours. All the power that is ours. However, they can't take it from us. They can't take it from us by force because it's locked inside of us. Because it's who we are. Still, they still desire to control it. So let's say this group, this power control force, wished for our power to work in unison with their power. Because they realized that the enormity of the combined strength and power of knowing would make them the most powerful, massive force and control in existence. So that's really the creation myth. That's the creation myth. Another perspective that I want to share with you. So this third dimensional realm is an illusion. It's not real. Nor is matter, nor is energy associated with matter. We are led to believe that we are simply energy, and that energy cannot be destroyed. That's a scientific intellectualism standpoint. And however, energy can be eliminated because energy is an illusion. A fabricated lie. It's a lie. It is energy that creates the illusion of matter. It's a scientific intellectualism illusion, which is finite, limited. So this energy, along with the illusion of matter in the atom, which I've talked about, has no relevance. And I'll continue to talk about the atom because that's really all we need to be talking about, is the atom and the connections and how it ties into the agenda. And so the atom really has no relevance to the eternal state of awareness that you are, but it keeps you immersed in the illusion. Matter does not exist as in your eternal state as awareness. So there is no divided light, no shape, no color, and no sound. All these three-dimensional manifestations are bits and pieces of illusory deception, attempting to stimulate or simulate something of value. Matter is simply light manipulated to form an atom and the appearance of everything three-dimensional. The light originated from a thought. These thoughts, these atoms, are all lies. So again, I want to leave you with this, a very short video or podcast. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. But let's stay abreast of what's going on or going to transpire and unfold in the next few weeks up until the time that this new baby of William Kate's arrival, because it represents the Trinity as well. We could take it back to the atom. William and Kate and the new baby will also represent the Trinity. They represent the Trinity. And so we'll share a little bit more on that as things unfold. We can't preempt or predict what will happen. We have to wait and watch and see what transpires on the physical world stage, and then we connect the dots afterwards. So thanks a lot for tuning in. If you have any questions or comments, leave them for me. Otherwise, read the brief overview that I did on my latest blog post. I'll post it in the description. Take care. Bye-bye.